What I want to cover in the talk today, I'm going to give a brief overview of what Plone4Artists is. Then I'm going to talk about how do you get started if you have an open source project that you'd like to build community around. And then once you have that, how do you nurture that community? And then how do you promote the project once you have it up and running? And lastly, the thing that no one likes to talk about, how do you raise money for your project? So, what is Plone4Artists? Well, when I started looking at Plone, this was back in 2002, I came to Plone not as an artist, but as a developer. And I was working in Denmark at the time. We were trying to find a content management system for Learning Lab Denmark, where I was working. And we decided on Plone, and as I started using it, I thought, wow, this would be a really great platform to build an artist community website. I'm a musician, saxophonist, and I thought this would be a really great tool to get artists to upload their music and their video and their gigs and have like their own profile pages, kind of like what today we have MySpace, and I've been thinking about this, 2002. So I started this Plone4Artists project, and it was really just an itch that I wanted to scratch. I wasn't really, doing it for money at the time. I was just thinking, well, this would be kind of a cool thing to do. So I started building some different add-on components, which has turned into a whole suite of products now. And it is an open source project. All the software is GPL, and it's community driven. So I don't actually write all the code myself. I'm more the cheerleader that finds people to write the code. And lastly, it's a labor of love. So it's something that I'm doing really because I love doing it. And it's something that I do kind of on the side. It's not my main thing, which is pretty typical of a lot of open source projects. That people do it because they're passionate about it. So, just an overview of what it is. Well, the goal, as I said, was to build a complete solution for creating an artist community website. We still got a ways to go to get to that point, but we have developed a suite of add-on components that sort of form the foundation of building an artist community website. So things like uploading audio files, MP3 files, uploading video files, creating a calendar of events, a gig calendar, support for podcasting, and lastly, bulk uploading files. So instead of uploading one file manually, one after the other, we have tools that can upload a bunch of files all at once. So the video component, which is the most recent product we've been working on, I'll be talking more about this in my talk tomorrow, which is about the making of Plone.tv, which uses this product very heavily. But for now, I'll just show the screenshot. You can upload QuickTime, Windows Media, Flash, Reel, MP4, a bunch of different video formats. It also lets you add video that's hosted on other external websites like Google Video and YouTube and Blip and but a dozen different video sharing sites. So you can actually pull that video into your Plone site, and you don't have to host that video yourself. You let one of those other companies pay the bandwidth and the hosting cost, but it shows up in your Plone site. Another component we've been developing is called Plone4Artists Calendar. And I understand that a lot of the educational people here at the Symposium are very interested in calendaring tools. I won't be giving a demonstration of this in this talk, but I'll probably do a lightning talk either today or tomorrow to show how this product works. But basically, it lets you take a folder of events that you have on your Plone site and activate it as a calendar folder and say, this is a folder of events, and then it renders either a monthly view, like the one you see, or a listing, where it shows the month and then what's happening each day of that month. It supports iCal import and export, so you can actually publish calendars that are on your desktop applications to Plone and vice versa. You can pull down events that are on your Plone site into your desktop calendaring application. It has some other things like color coding of events, so the keywords, what the event type can show up in a different color on your calendar. And then the very first component we started developing was Plone4Artists Audio, which the predecessor to this was called AT Audio. Some of you may remember it. I know Boldemir here from the Ukraine was one of the first people to help work on that. It's since evolved. It's now using ZOP 3 component architecture, so it's using some of the latest and greatest technology from Plone. And this product, similar to the video, lets you upload an audio file to your Plone site. It will extract all the MP3 metadata, so the artist, the album, the composer, the year, and it will include a Flash-based MP3 player right in your Plone page. So you can just press play and it'll start playing the audio file. It also extracts the cover art image from the MP3 file. And basically, you can use Plone as an ID3 tag editor. So you can change the metadata in your Plone site, and when you hit save, it writes that metadata back to the audio file. So if that audio file goes to peer-to-peer network or something, it'll retain all that metadata that you've edited in your Plone site. And then lastly, we have this, I mentioned this before, the Plone Flash Upload tool, which is a tool for bulk uploading audio, any kind of file, doesn't have to be an audio file, into your Plone site, and it uses Flash. There's also a JUpload plugin for Plone that uses Java, but we found that the Flash is a little bit better because more people have Flash on their computer than they do have Java. And this is a product that works on both Plone 2.5 and 3.0. And I think on Friday we're going to be doing some sprinting on this product. So if this is something that you would like to have on your Plone site, you're welcome to come to the sprint and try it out and help us fix some bugs. So kind of an overview of these different components and how they play together. This might be a little hard to see this, but this is a data model diagram that I made a couple years ago, which is showing, you can see the recordings, it's a folderish content type, and inside that is a recording, and then inside the recording folder is all the MP3s. So the idea is I'm an artist, I want to create a profile on my Plone site with all of my gigs, all my MP3 files, all my videos, and they should all cross-reference to each other. So I can say I'm an artist, I'm in these bands, and I could go to the band site, the band page, and see what artists are in that particular band. So that's kind of where we're going. So far we've just been focusing on the core components, the audio and the video and the calendaring stuff. So just a brief history. I've been doing this project for a while. In 2003, this is shortly after I discovered Plone, I presented a 5-minute lightning talk at the Plone conference in New Orleans. You may have heard of the lightning talks. It's these very short little demos where you stand up and you talk about something. And that sort of sparked some interest from other people and said, hey, this sounds pretty cool, let's riff on this. So then a year went by, we kind of did some prototypes, and in 2004, we discussed this idea of the snow sprint, and I did another lightning talk at EuroPython. I was living in Denmark at the time. 2005, I did my first real talk on EuroPython, or on Plone4Artists at EuroPython. And then it just kind of snowballed. The more I got out there talking to people about this project, the more interest there was, and the more people that got involved. Valdemir was at the very first multimedia sprint, which was after the Plone conference in Vienna. It was 2005, I think. And since then we've had, I think, like 5 or 6 sprints on the multimedia and calendaring and stuff. 2006, Snow Sprint, Plone Symposium. I also started reaching out outside of the Plone community to bar camps, if somebody may have heard of bar camp, to try to promote Plone to people who wouldn't otherwise be exposed to it. The first ever PodCamp Boston, I did a presentation there. Linux talk last year, it was in Berlin. So I've kind of been doing, around the world circuit, talking to people about this. And here I am today, 2008, at Plone Symposium East. Just to give you a sense of sort of the history of this project. And I just pulled these numbers out yesterday, so they're pretty recent. We have 136, actually there were 3 people that joined yesterday, so that's like 139 now. Members on the mailing list, the P4A user mailing list. We have 51 contributors with SVN commit rights to the SVN repository. We've had 1,005 downloads of the video product, 472 of the site, and 491 of the calendar.